So let's take a look at her loadout.
So she is a 2-speed, 2 armor. We felt like this was the right spot for her. We didn't want her to be too aggressive, but we also wanted her to be resilient. So she can take a little more in.
A little bit of a beating, but yeah,
exactly.
But she's also not like a super roamer. But she comes with that utility, as you were saying. And
Exactly.
let's take a look at her primary and secondary weapons.
So she comes equipped with the LMG-E, which is a LMG with a 150 bullet magazine. She comes with the M762, which is a more standard assault rifle with a 30 mag capacity. And she also has the PR-15, which is Ella's pistol, which comes equipped with the red dot sight.
So both Ella and Zofia are going to be a force to be reckoned with this secondary, with the red dot sight, and a gun. Zofia comes with a LMG with 150
Yeah,
bullets.
she can lay suppressive fire all day.
So a ton of utility with this operator. Let's take a look at some of her gameplay footage in action and what it kind of looks like. So, Simon, how do you feel as though Zofia is going to play in Pro League?
I think it's going to be interesting to see with what operator the teams replace her with. Like, I feel like she is a very good alternative to Ashe. Yes, she doesn't have the same amount of speed and explosiveness as Ashe has, but she also brings more utility, which could be very useful in a lot of situations. Yeah,
so it'll be interesting to see how Ashe mains may switch over to Zofia. Maybe they swap between each other, and maybe depending upon the strategy of the defenders, maybe they switch over to Zofia.
Yeah, exactly. And her 2 impact grenades are able to take out barbed wire. So we know Ashe uses a lot of her explosive grenades for barbed wires. Well, Zofia can bring that to the...
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the key things in Pro League that we've seen is that those barbed wires becoming so key at slowing down enemies, and even those traps do her impact grenades blow up traps as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if they think it's an interesting choice to trade a little speed for utility.
Yeah, and I think with her strong loadout, with her LMG and AR, it's going to be really interesting to see how she plays out.
And one more thing to note is that she can be quite the playmaker because her concussion grenades can actually bounce off walls, so you don't have to expose yourself to get a concussion grenade in. So if you know, like, the defender is hiding behind a cover, you don't even need to expose yourself. You try to do a little trick shot with the door frame, and then you get in and you grab the frag.
So super utility. You don't even need to see the opponent to shoot her grenades in.
Exactly, and really cool. As we just saw, it's really proximity based. So as soon as the proximity grenade flies near a defender, it will explode instantly.
And then it will hit multiple defenders.
And it will hit multiple defenders, and even herself if she gets caught in the radius, just as Ella's with her mines.
Yeah, and we're noticing that it's a similar effect to Ella, but slightly different. Is about the same time length that it lasts?
It's about the same length. We wanted to have like this kind of like a wink at her sister. They're really like connected, and yeah.
Yeah, and I think even they have a few voice lines together that you might be able to hear if you're playing as Zofia and Ella's in the game too.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I think the narration team had a lot of fun with that and put a bit of playfulness into the game, which is really great. Yeah, really great. So that is a look at Zofia, and let's take a look at our next operator, Vigil, that is coming with Operation White Nose.
You never saw me coming. Don't feel so bad. Nobody ever sees me. I'm in everyone's blind spot.
Really, what a cool CGI trailer for Vigil. That's one of the coolest ones I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's really badass.
And one of our lead writers, Lucien Souben, described Vigil for me, and I wrote it down real quick because his backstory is really interesting. So Vigil is an orphan tortured by his experiences. He turned his pain into path of discipline, but because of the hardships he's faced, he's most comfortable behind his mask. He prefers to be invisible, and that's exactly what his abilities show him to do. So obviously, there is some kind of cloaking ability that he has. Why don't we break down his gadget, Simon? What are the game design intentions behind Vigil?
So with Vigil, we wanted to have a roamer that is extremely strong. Like he comes equipped with the electronic rendering cloak, and that renders him invisible to drones. Obviously, for a roamer, a lurker, this is a very strong ability because the drones are the #1 enemy of the roamers and lurkers. That's how they get the
absolutely. It's a really interesting ability, and let's see it in action from Vigil's perspective. And why don't you break it down for us?
So we'll see Vigil just activating his cloaking ability, and then you will see the drone coming in, and he has a white light because the computer in Vigil's back is actively hacking the drone speed to remove his image from it.
And there you can see a little bit of a HUD indication that you are invisible and you are cloaked to that drone. Additionally, it works, I noticed a timer bar for the ability icon. How does that work?
Yeah, it works on the cooldown similar to Caveira's, so he can use it, stay in it, he can move around, and then that's it. When it runs out, it has to refill up until he can use it again.
Now, let's take a look at what that looks like from the attacker's perspective while in the drone view.
So the drone is just rolling in, and Vigil just vanishes from the vision of the drone.
As we hear the crowd just go react to that, and they just cheered, and we're just like blown away by that.
It just looks great.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I love the sort of cloaking effect. A visual that looks that's great, and additionally we saw the same UI HUD that is present there. So what happens when a drone comes close to Vigil while he's already cloaked?
So while you're in the drone, you will get close to Vigil and you will get that HUD increase. But even if you get close to him, the HUD will not grow any stronger. So the design intention behind that is that when Vigil is invisible, you will know that he's in the room, but you cannot tell where he is. You cannot pinpoint his position.
Really amazing stuff. And obviously, what's that range that they can detect him at?
The range is about 12 meters. So the HUD vignette will increase from 12 to 8 meters. But after from 8 meters to Vigil, you cannot pinpoint him.
So if he's in a small room you throw your drone in there, you drive your drone in there, you'll be able to see Vigil or actually know that he's in that room, but you won't actually be able to see him. You won't know exactly where he is, but you will get that HUD feedback on him. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. So let's take a look at his loadout and break down some of those details.
So, of course, he's a roamer, so he needs to be 3-speed, 1 armor. He's a very aggressive defender. He's a lot of fun to play with. And he has a pretty cool selection of weapons too.
Yeah, let's take a look at his primary and secondary weapons.
So he comes equipped with the K1A1, which is a submachine gun, 30 mags. And he comes equipped with 2 machines pistol as secondaries. But the real special weapon here is the shotgun, the Boss G22. It's really a unique shotgun. We've never did anything like it in the game. And so the way it works is that it's a shotgun that has 2 pellets. And it doesn't fire, when you fire it, it doesn't fire 8 pellets. It fires just only a single buckshot. And so...
So how does that work? It's obviously really powerful. And
exactly.
But it's going to be a bit of a high risk, high reward.
Exactly. You only get 2 shots with him. That's it. But it's a very high damage weapon. So you'll have to be very confident in your shots, because if you miss them, it's bye-bye.
I can only see now a cloaked Vigil just walking around a corner, entirely an unexpected person on their drone, just droning out a room, and he just comes around a corner with that slug shotgun.
He's terrifying.
That is really scary. So obviously a lot of utility, a lot of situational advantages for Vigil. And but let's take a look at some of his counter picks as well. So who would you say is a good counter pick?
His nemesis is obviously IQ, because whenever he has his electronic rendering cloak active, IQ will track him in real time as he moves around. And so he cannot hide from IQ unless he turns it off.
That is amazing. That is really cool. His counter picks become really important, and
absolutely.
And IQ is really his nemesis against him.
Yeah,
really cool. Great. So let's take a look at some of his gameplay footage here with looking at Vigil.
Well, actually, Justin, there is two more softer counters to Vigil, which is Thatcher and Twitch. Thatcher, if he gets caught in the radius, it will temporarily disable his electronic rendering cloak. And for Twitch, if by chance you arrive and you manage to pinpoint him and shoot him, it will disable his cloaking with the Twitch drone.
So Twitch's drone will be able to disable Vigil's cloaking.
Exactly.
But she won't be able to see him, right?
No, she won't be able to see him from the drone. Only if she gets a shot if she knows where he is.
So she'll just get the HUD indication, and then if she just happens to hit him, he'll break.
Exactly.
That's really cool. All right, so now let's take a look at the gameplay footage of Vigil in action, and tell us a little bit about how you foresee Pro League actually integrating a character like Vigil.
Oh man, he's going to be one of the more interesting characters we're going to see in Pro League. I think he's a huge meta changer because we know how cornerstone droning is to an attack. So
it's huge. We've been seeing it all weekend. Droning is just, they're in and out of their drones nonstop.
Exactly, and you see how fast they pre-fire angles when they spot a defender, but you won't be able to tell where he is. So by entering, you won't be able to pre-fire him because you can't tell where he is. So I think it's going to be actually a huge game changer.
I feel like he's going to have a lot of harassment ability where he is just hiding out in a room, and an attacker throws their drone in and just gets that HUD notification, and they just freak out. They're just like, all right, he's in there somewhere. Exactly. I don't know where, but he's in there somewhere.
Exactly, and that's what he brings to his team, basically. It's making the attackers lose time. And so they're going to have to figure out where he is. They're going to have to get in and try to kill him, but he's just going to make the attacker lose a bunch of time, and that's what he brings.
And I feel like he's an interesting parallel to Caveira, because he does have a similar ability where it's a time-based ability like Caveira. It runs out of time eventually.
Exactly, and that's what he brings to the team. It's kills and losing time.
Yeah. Do you think we're going to see another Caveira with him?
I don't know. I think Caveira plus Vigil might be a little overkill. I don't know, but I mean, I would be terrified playing against that.
Yeah, I'd be a little afraid as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, a really interesting operator with Vigil, and now let's take a look at our third and remaining operator, Dokkaebi.
Your phone is ringing. Here. Let me get that for you.
The crowd is going crazy here for that trailer of Dokkaebi, one of our most interesting operators that we will have ever released. It's really game-changing operator. And before I get into her gadget, I'd like to just read a little bit of her backstory that was provided to me by Lucien. Again, thank you, Lucien, if you're watching. Dokkaebi is a driven hacker who never really fit in with conventional military structure. She was used to doing things her way, but her technical savvy made her an asset on the modern-day battlefield, and an unexpected threat to any enemies facing her. So, Simon, what were your game design intentions behind Dokkaebi? Break down her gadget because it's very unique.
So we wanted to have an attacker that's really focused on intel. So she comes equipped with this tablet, and she has this ability called Logic Bomb. And when she activates this ability, it makes all of the defenders' phones ring.
So how does, that sounds pretty insane. How does she actually do that? Let's take a look from her perspective.
Yeah. So you'll see she will activate the Logic Bomb. And then on her right, she can hear that there is a defender. And you see Valkyrie was attempting to shut down the ringtone that Dokkaebi was making her cell phone play.
So after she does that animation of making everybody's phones ring, you're on the defender side, you actually have your phone ringing.
Exactly, you can hear it. It's really distracting.
So let's take a look at that from the defender's perspective. And why don't you break us down?
Exactly, now you can see that the phone is ringing, and Vigil, panicking, tries to turn off his phone, and that's how it happens. But it's an important decision to take as a defender to say, do I turn off my phone or do I keep it ringing? Like, do I take this time where I cannot shoot back and I cannot defend myself?
Yeah, so she's really the ultimate troll in terms of just getting people's phones to ring, and you actually have to spend time to turn off your phone in a similar way that you have to make that decision with Legion, or do I continue to fight on, or do I take out that pin, or do I just continue to let my phone ring, or spend the time to actually hide and turn it off?
Yeah, it's a big decision to make.
Now, there is one other ability with her hacking Logic Bomb
and
this comes into play. It's really kind of a game changer.
Awesome.
Why don't you run us through it?
So you will see Dokkaebi. She's getting a kill right now, and when any attacker kills a defender, they drop their phone, and she can hack the phone and, yes, gain access to the camera network of the defenders.
Wow, that is huge, and I think the crowd likes that.
Yeah, they like that. And yeah, you can see it's not only the standard cameras, it's Valkyrie's camera too.
Yeah, really, that is so huge. I love the crowd's reaction because they just exploded about that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Now, let's take a look at that from the defender's view. What does that look like?
So say you're a defender, you're watching your cams, trying to get a call out for your team, and then Dokkaebi hacks into the network. She will get that signature image in your face, distracting you, trying to make call-outs, and that's how you know your network has been compromised too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really kind of an awesome little feature there for Dokkaebi. I cannot wait to see how players utilize that amazing gadget. Really,
yeah, absolutely.
Really incredible. All right, let's take a look at her loadout here and run through that.
So she is a 2-speed, 2-armor attacker, and she comes equipped with a great selection of weapons.
Let's take a look at those primaries and secondaries,
So she comes equipped with the MK14 EBR, which is a DMR. It has really great recoil, high damage, and she shares the other weapons of Vigil. So the super awesome shotgun and the 2 machine pistols, the SMG-12 and the CZ-75. She also comes with smoke grenades and claymores.
So strong loadout, strong unique gadget. What is really her nemesis against her? Actually, she's a pretty good counter pick against another operator.
Exactly.
Right?
This is a straight counter pick to Valkyrie. You'll have to think twice about bringing Valkyrie, and if you do decide to bring her in, where will you put your Valkyrie cams? Because if she does get to hack into the network, you can get all of your positions compromised, and it can make your defense absolutely collapse on itself.
Yeah, and then you have a really important decision as a defender: do I blow out all my cameras, or do I just have them have that intel?
Exactly.
And for Valkyrie, sometimes that long range camera throw is kind of outside of the range of a certain location. So whether you have to make that decision too. Do you throw it outside? Do you throw it closer to the bomb site where you can actually get to it and shoot it if necessary? So a lot of decisions on the
it's going to be so interesting to see how it plays out, because as always the player will impress us with what they come up with as strategies and counter strategies.
They always come up with better strategies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of that, she does have a few counter picks, so let's take a look at those. Right?
So basically, when she uses the Logic Bomb ability, it does not make Echo's cell phone ring. Echo is exempt from that ability. He is immune.
He's too high tech.
And IQ, when the defender's phone are ringing, she can and the defender is trying to stop his phone from ringing, she can see the outline of the phone in his hand.
That's pretty cool.
So if you really have a good timing with your IQ, you can really pull off some really cool coordinated plays.
So an interesting thing where these really high-tech operators are bringing a lot to IQ as a potential.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. IQ is going to be able to counter everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that said, that is a look at Dokkaebi. Let's take a look at her gameplay footage real quick. So, Simon, Dokkaebi, how do you think pro players are actually going to provide a strategy around her?
I think she's going to be a strong pick, but maybe more of a situational one. So I think how it's going to play out is that if the other team, if the team knows that the other team is running a strong Valkyrie and they want to counter that, they can bring in a Dokkaebi to be a really strong counter to that defense.
Yeah, and I think it should be mentioned that Dokkaebi does have a slight counter to that hacking ability too, where you can, as a defender, turn off or shoot those phones, right?
Exactly. So anytime Dokkaebi is picked on attack and a defender dies, they drop their cell phone.
You can see Valkyries right there.
Yeah, we can see the phone on the ground. And as a defender, you can try and deny the hack by maybe taking a risk, exposing yourself, shooting down the phone to make sure your camera network doesn't get exposed. And so there's going to be a lot of really interesting decisions to make on the defender side.
On Dokkaebi's opposite side, Vigil, he has a cloaking ability that prevents him from being seen by drones on the attacker side. Does he get seen by hacked cameras?
Yeah, so when the attackers hacked into the system and look through the cameras, Vigil is going to stay invisible to those hacked cameras, so he stays immune to that.
Really interesting gameplay between these two operators that we're releasing now, where one has one ability and it can be countered against Dokkaebi as well with his ability.
Exactly, like really Vigil is just a ghost to all terms of electronic watching, like either drones or cameras.
Do you think she's going to be one of those must picks that come into Pro League?
Like I said, I think really she's going to be a little more situational. She's strong, although like I'm curious to see how her weapons are going to play out because they are very highly lethal. It's one of the strongest DMRs that we have in the game. The recoil is very easily manageable, and it has 21 bullets. It's just such a fun operator to play with.
Plus, she has two SMGs as secondaries.
And yeah, once you run out of ammunition, you can switch to two amazing SMGs. Machine pistols, in fact.
Machine pistols.
Yeah, she just has a great loadout. She's just so much fun to play with. I think the players are going to have a total blast with this season.
Really amazing. So that is a look at our 3 operators coming with Operation White Noise, our map, but there is a little bit more coming. And releasing with Operation White Noise, we have a few little surprises as well, starting with an elite skin. So let's take a look at Mute's elite skin that will be launching with Operation White Noise. Obviously, elite skins come with a head-to-toe customization and a unique gadget customization with an MVP winning screen, which is so cool. That is one of the coolest MVP winning screens that I've ever seen, because it just like blacks out the camera, which is really awesome. And of course, with every season, we also provide brand new BDUs for our operators that are releasing. So here's a look at Zofia's BDU that will be available with the launch of Operation White Noise. These are special customization items that you can get at launch of the season as well. And here's Vigil. Vigil, something that's really cool is his mask is customized here, so I'm sure you'll be able to see a little bit more of that in the future, which is great. And then finally, Dokkaebi has a little bit of a customization option as well, with her beanie and her outfit as well, which is really cool, and her little logo in the chest, right there, which is great.
Very well made.
So all of that coming to you very soon, and of course, with every operation, we have a ton of general tweaks and improvements. Just so many things coming out with you with Operation White Noise, and you'll actually be able to get the patch notes starting tomorrow. Also, starting tomorrow, we are really happy to announce that launching on November 20th is the full technical test server for Operation White Noise. You will be able to play the entire operation White Noise content live on the technical test server for PC players starting tomorrow, with the full launch coming on December 5th. And we are doing 2 weeks of technical test server. That first week is going to be a really intense and high-paced patch notes fixing week. That is, we're going to be working very hard to make sure that season is very polished. And then the following week will be another week where we can pick up any following bugs that may be staggering around. Yeah, so cool. So with that said, that is Operation White Noise. Once again, thank you guys to Maddie and Simon. Thank you to everybody here in Brazil. Thank you to everybody watching on our cameras at home. And that is not all. We have an amazing grand finals coming right up with Ents and Black Dragons. This is going to be an amazing crowd, amazing match. I cannot wait for you guys to see this. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this.
Operation White Noise is taking Rainbow Six Siege to South Korea, where a new map called Tower will test your tolerance for heights, and 3 new operators will put new gadgets into play. Let's start with Dokkaebi, a 2-speed, 2-armor attacker from South Korea, who brings a tablet into battle to disrupt her enemies in a way we can all relate to, by calling them at really awkward moments. Twice per round, Dokkaebi can remotely hack the phones of every defender simultaneously with her logic bomb, which does a few things. First, it causes all of the defenders' phones to emit a loud buzzing noise. Second, it disrupts the defender's camera surveillance, giving the attackers a chance to maneuver without being spotted. Third, it annoys the crap out of every defender until they take a few seconds to turn off that infernal buzzing. But Dokkaebi doesn't stop there. When she's in a match, every defender that is killed will drop their phone. If Dokkaebi manages to hack an enemy phone, she immediately grants every attacker the ability to access the defender's cameras. What's a defender to do? Avoid camera sightlines? Shoot out their own cams and deny themselves their own intel? The best way to avoid this dilemma is to destroy your teammates' phones when they go down, to ensure Dokkaebi can't hack them. There are also a few ways to evade her logic bomb, like being near a mute jammer when the hack goes out, or playing as Echo, who is immune to her hacks because the two often collaborate on tech stuff for Team Rainbow. But when it comes to avoiding hacked cameras, there's a new operator that takes evasion to a whole new level. Meet Vigil. This South Korean defender does not like to be surveilled, so he's got a gadget that lets him turn invisible to camera feeds. His electronic rendering cloak doesn't muffle his steps or affect his visibility to the naked eye, but if you're trying to drone him out or spot him on a hacked camera feed, you're out of luck. Affected drones and cameras emit a white light, and Vigil's ability causes a visual interference pattern to appear on any feeds that it's affecting. These cues tell attackers that Vigil is somewhere nearby. As a 3-speed, 1-armor defender, Vigil has the quickness to cover multiple areas of entry and sow doubt among the attackers about where he actually is. His ability works similarly to Caveira's Silent Step, so he can't be cloaked indefinitely, and his cloak vanishes when he shoots or does something to affect the environment. Also, like Pulse and his heartbeat sensor, Vigil can be detected by IQ when he's using his ability. Jackal can scan his footprints too, but if you don't have a strong anti-roamer operator in the field, you're gonna have to be extra vigilant.
Friendly, last operator standing.
On to our third operator, Zofia. This tough 2-speed, 2-armor frontline attacker from Poland's Grom CTU is as in-your-face as operators get. Her unique gadget? The KS-79 Lifeline, a double-barreled grenade launcher. In one chamber, she's got impact grenades. In the other chamber, concussion grenades that'll knock the sense out of any nearby defenders and make them all too vulnerable. She can switch between barrels with the press of a button, and she doesn't need to reload between shots. And the thing about those concussion grenades? You can bounce them around corners and land them in some tricky spots before their timed trigger goes off. They also have a proximity trigger, so if they happen to fly near a defender, they will immediately detonate and disorientate. Kind of like Ella's Gersmont mines, wouldn't you say? Zofia and Ella are sisters. They both have a fair bit of training when it comes to being concussed, so they recover 50% faster from each other's concussion blasts than other operators do. The Bozak sisters are tough, but Zofia is so tough that once per round, she can pick herself back up from a down but not out state. She only has 1 health point when she gets up, but by God, she gets up.
Op 4 eliminated.